Hello and welcome to the Qualifier race for the North Carolina event for Utica Home Track Series. Now, we have quite a few cars on the entry list today, so it's going to be quite the event. Also, this is going to be the most drivers that are going to be able to make the event so far. 11 spots are open for these drivers. Now, we're currently under caution before the race even started, as we had this horrible wreck on the pace lap, so it is quite the unusual event. Let's take a look at another angle here. It's going to damage a lot of race cars. It's going to ruin a lot of people's runs, like Dylan White. Dylan Ogo is going to have another bad run. Brian Benoit and several others. We eventually did get green flag racing, as Dylan Young was your race leader. Now, this driver is making his first start in the Utica Home Track Series. He has not made a start before, and he's I've seen him in a couple other series, but we'll have to see how this 50 car does here. It's a single car team, and already he's off on the right foot, getting the pole for this event, and is currently keeping the lead away from Bob Cortez. So Dylan Young looking in a great position to make his first start in the Wendy's Chevy. Jake Smith, car number 87, is currently the car to beat. He's at the tail end of the locked-in pack. Nick Capps is the first car that's not going to be in the show. Now, Jake Smith, we last saw him on track for Bristol. He made it into the through the qualifier event, but a wreck in the race put Jake Smith out, and he was now locked into Megville Bull Run. Now, one of the big surprises was John Ciadino, who did not make the Zandvoort race. Now, John Ciadino is a past winner at this racetrack. He won here in 2011. He's hoping that he can actually make the race today, because it would be very sad if this past winner was unable to make the show. At the current moment, he's not running well, however. He's currently behind Alex Allen in the 09 car, who's not looking in good shape either. There's a lot of cars between him and Jake Smith. Robert DeFrank is just ahead of Jake Smith and is driving the 06 car for the Gas Tank Engineering Incorporated crew. This is the Remind Me car, which is a Capcom game coming out this June. Now, this car, I'm not used to this car being on track. I don't know what the strategy is, but Josh LeMayo did really good in the 06 car, so we're hoping that Robert DeFrank can do as well. Robert DeFrank is a past winner in this sport, winning at Kyalami in 2011, but has not had a win since, and was recently released from the Citywide Motorsport team, which at the current moment looking a bad idea, as Robert DeFrank is currently in the show. They go 3 wide with Chris Kyle going through the turn. We have some pretty intense racing for this final spot. Julian Kenneblez Jr., car number 45. He is looking in great shape for this event, as he is in second. Now, he does not need to worry as much as the other weeks where he's had trouble making the show. They're coming up on the slower car of Joe Martin, that 81 car, who's been the replacement driver for Nicky Allen. Julian Kenneblez Jr. hoping to get this third JFI entry into the show for the second week in a row. And he did very well at Zandvoort, so he's hoping to do well here at North Carolina, The Rock. Mooney Peskic in the number 06R is back on track, but things are not looking good for him or Dylan White. They were both involved in that toss-up on the pace lap after Brian Benoit's car broke and the steering went. Unfortunately, Mooney Peskic was not able to make it for Zandvoort, which is as close as they get to his native Bosnia as they come on the racetrack. But the 06 car, really hoping that he can do well next week at Watkins Glen. Well, I should revise that. I believe we get closer. I think maybe the Italy race at Monza. Yeah, Monza's much closer. Ignore my previous statement. Anyway, Nick Capps, car number 18, has had horrible luck and is currently battling with Alex Tanker, who got shuffled back to the 11th place spot. So Nick Capps just needs to pass one car and he's in the show. Now, Nick Capps has had a very unfortunate season. His brothers, Dom and Dustin, have had a very great season, scoring top 5 and 10 finishes and getting Rookie of the Race. But Nick Capps yet to make his first start. The driver yet to make his first start is Chris Kyle, car number 1. But the difference with him, he's currently in, as he's ahead of Robert DeFrank and Alex Tanker. Chris Kyle, he entered this season driving the number one GameStop Chevy on a single car team. He's had a lot of difficulty making the race, and last week he had a horrible wreck at Zandvoort, which completely totaled his car. They had to rebuild this car and try to get it out here for North Carolina. It looks like the effort was well paid off. They're still in contention to make the show as we currently run. Jerry Guerra is another driver trying to make his first start. Now, brother Nicholas has made several races, but Jerry Guerra has not been able to make a start. If he does make the race, which at the current moment is looking good, he's in the show at the moment, it'll be the first time both the Guerra brothers will be racing against one another. So Jerry Guerra hoping to give his brother a run for his money on the track if he makes it into the show, which at the current moment is looking pretty plausible. He's running right behind the RGE car of Ray Takula, who's also trying to make her second start of the season. And the teammate car to that is Joshua Michaels, who was another surprise that is not locked into the show. Joshua Michaels has been having a horrible year as of so far. And actually, the entire RGE Motorsports team has been struggling, as all three of their cars are in this qualifier event. Matt Duell is their third car, who's a couple spots ahead of them, still not in the show. So Joshua Michaels not really happy with how the team's been running this year, as he sits ahead of Alex DeMarco, car number 51, who had a great run last week, but unfortunately is not doing as well this time. There's going to be a lot of disappointment for some of the drivers that did well in Zandvoort. Willie Decker, car number 1X, is in the show at the moment. Now this car is heavily underfunded. They're driving a 2000 model car while everyone else is driving a 2011 model. Now Willie Decker, he is uncertain if he's going to run this race if he qualifies in. They're not really confident with the racing team. They're trying to get as much money out of it as possible. They may page John Cittadino if he does not make the race to help them, as Cittadino is a former winner. The other former winner of this race is Russell Arcuri, who is also a Cittadino Motorsports car. So they're trying to go for a 3 in a row, just as a little bit of fun trivia. Bob Cortez, car number 86X, is currently running in second place and having a great run. Bob Cortez made his first start last week in Zandvoort and had a great run, along with his son Estavas. Estavas is also qualified for this race at the moment, running in that top 11. Both are driving StarCraft machines, and both were a surprise entry on the Zandvoort entry list. And they are hoping to follow up the great performances they had last time with one this time. Matt Duell is the car just outside of that top 11. Alex Tanker is the 11th place car, and Nick Capps has been passed. I think it's going to be a battle between these three, as Justin Benoit seems to have fallen back a little bit, and the cars behind him seem to not be able to get by him. Benoit's been holding up that position. It looks like Tyler Benoit's going to be alone today, as Father Brian and Brother Justin both are not looking good for the show. Matt Duell hoping to at least put 2 of the RGE Motorsports cars in the show, but Alex Tanker has not raced since Bristol. He's hungry to get back on the track and race with teammate Brad McMahon, as Dylan Young is the winner for this qualifier as the event ends. So great job by Dylan Young, who had an amazing performance in his first start. Let's take a look at the drivers that qualified. Dylan Young, Bob Cortez, Jerry Guerra, Ray Takula, Julian Kenneblis Jr., Willie Decker, Jake Smith, Robert DeFrank, Chris Kyle, and Alex Tanker. Now we will look at the cars that sadly were unable to qualify for today's show. Matt Duell, Nick Capps, Justin Benoit, Joshua Michaels, Brendan Patterson, Alex DeMarco, Alex Allen, John Cittadino, Dylan Ogo, Dylan White, Joe Martin, Andrew Robinson, Munib Peskic, and Brian Benoit. And lastly, we take a look at the qualifier series points. The leader in that is Ray Takula, followed by Justin Benoit and Julian Kenneblis Jr. Then there's Matt Duell, Jake Smith, Austin Ogo, Chris Kyle, Andrew Robinson, Bob Cortez, and Estavas Cortez. Austin Ogo is currently locked in, so he does not need to worry about the standings at the moment. Next up is going to be the official race for the Utica Home Track Series at North Carolina. I hope to see you there and have a pleasant evening.